Jessica notices her little brother watching Hamza videos.
Why are you watching this stuff? Why don't you just embrace feminism and you can embrace your feminist side and you can just show some more emotion? Why won't you just listen to me?
But it's too late. Jessica's brother is far too base to listen to the same conditioning that led him to an unhappy life already. He often looks down at himself with a sense of distaste. He sees what the modern world has convinced him, brainwashed him to believe, and he's lonely because of that. And so finally he has taken life by the balls because he wants to become more like Adonis. Adonis has been a masculine man for so long that he couldn't even imagine anything else. And you want to know what happens when a man reclaims his birthright to his core masculine energy? He feels aligned to his purpose and mission. He feels like there is a point in his life. He looks down at his rock-hard, carved-from marble body with a sense of pride and confidence. He looks around his tribe of the men and women that he cares about, and he feels connected and loved and present and grateful. He wouldn't trade this for anything else. Someone posted about me on the Feminism subreddit on reddit.com, and actually one of the Reddit mods replied, and this is what the Reddit moderator has said, and then I'll read you the original post that wrote about me. This is the moderator. Red pill YouTubers are insecure and sad little men who make money off the insecurities of teenaged boys. It's shameful, and if I met this guy IRL, I would laugh in his face. He's a cult leader of little boys. How sad and useless. Bet his mom is so proud of his beliefs about male supremacy, the disgusting misogynist. Anyone who needs help getting themselves or their younger siblings off the incel pipeline should try advice or resources in the feminism subreddit, the men's lib subreddit. That was the Reddit moderator. Now let's read the official post, which is about me, and it's titled, "My brother watches Hamza and it's scaring me." My little brother, who's 14 years old, listens to a lot of red pill content, and his main source of the red pill has been watching this YouTuber called Hamza. Good man. I constantly see him watching his videos, so I decided to look into what he preaches in his videos. From what I saw, he was just bragging about his sex life in uni and saying that working out is the easiest way to attracting women, and that working women are far less happy than housewives. They are. That's a consistently proven fact, that the one job that results in the highest levels of happiness and satisfaction is housewife/mother. There's no career in the entire world for men or women that brings as much happiness to a person as motherhood does to a woman. He also constantly body shames people, saying that if they aren't in shape, they are Jeffries. Well, they are. Some sort of red pill insult. I was horrified by this is the best part, and asked my brothers to stop watching him and embrace feminism, and it's okay to be more feminine. He looked at me as if I was dumb and said he had no feminine traits and that he's going to the gym, being more masculine, and taking the red pill is the only path for men to take. Bro is based. I felt very disturbed by this, as I know he also listens to Andrew Tate. When I asked him about Tate, he said that he taught good ways to make money as if he was a businessman. Right now I don't know what to do, as a lot of what he's watching is challenging our feminist views, and I'm scared he'll turn into a misogynist. So this is it's like a secret user. They've just made an account to post this, throwaway 3797, it's like some random account, right? So I'm going to address this woman who is concerned for her little brother's lack of feminism. It would sound awesome if in this video I was really wholesome and I was being nice to you, but young woman, I think you need to understand that men aren't happy. There's a reason why your brother doesn't want to be a feminist, because feminism is a joke. Feminism is what has caused decades of women's unhappiness and unsatisfaction. It's what's caused decades of the destruction of families, that caused the largest happiness increase we could have ever gotten. People don't get into families anymore because of feminism. Feminism doubled the supply of workers into the workforce. Have you ever heard of the concept supply and demand? When you double the supply of something and the demand of it doesn't really increase, well then the price of it decreases because we've got more of that thing. 100 years ago, a father could have left his family in the morning, went to work, come back home at 6, 7 p.m. and that was it. He would be able to provide for his family, and he felt so purposeful, and his wife, the mother of their children, was at home full-time looking after the kids. That was the time when humans were the most happy in the last century. Now, because of the cancer that is feminism and the big push that they convinced and brainwashed women to get into the workplace, to degrade themselves because women were happier when they were housewives and mothers, that's a proven fact. Well, when you double the supply of the workers, you can't pay them more. You have to pay them the same or even less, and this is why wages have been stagnated for decades. You see, your brother isn't a feminist, not because he wants to be a misogynist, not because he hates women, but your brother is not a feminist because he actually cares for women. Now, the thing is, this woman who I was just addressing is not going to listen to this. Maybe they'll post this video on the feminism subreddit and get us more clout and attention. That's nice. I speak directly to my boys now. I have said from the start of the times where I've been making these videos that sometimes we have to pretend that we're like these normal people because they won't understand us. Do you really think that this woman who wrote this post saying that she's scared that her brother is going to the gym, she's scared that her brother is watching content where we speak about improving our mental health, where we speak about making friends and building a tribe, she's scared of these things. She's scared for for her brother's safety and concerned that he might become a misogynist because he's watching my videos on like how to text girls properly. Some people out there are so close-minded, so unable to just see things from other people's perspectives that they will instantly label you as a misogynist, sexist, anything, racist, anything. And these labels are very powerful. So now I want to speak directly to the very young men watching this, the 14, 15-year-olds out there. Maybe you have a sister just like this who's, prying and saying, wait, why are you watching Andrew Tate? He's a misogynist. There's something very important that I want to walk you through. And it's not very clickbait or exciting, so this part of the video might be boring, but this may be some of the most important thing you ever do with your life. And that is to observe your beliefs. Analyze the beliefs that you have in your mind. Why do you believe a certain thing? And also try to question, why does that person over there believe this certain thing? When someone looks at you and says, Andrew Tate is a misogynist, maybe you shouldn't believe it straight away. Maybe you should take some time to think, okay, do I believe that as a fact? Where is the data, the evidence, the information that shows Andrew Tate or Hamza is a misogynist? Misogyny means that these people actively dislike women. But Hamza has hundreds of videos about improving himself so that I can get love in my life. If he hated women, he'd be making videos like, oh yeah, women aren't even anything, you don't even need women in your life and everything. But he says in most videos that love and relationships is the most important part of life. And he even seems to support the women's developments in his lives. I can see 50 different videos where he's actually helped women. So maybe this person who said to me that this guy on the internet is a misogynist, sexist, terrorist, racist, whatever, maybe this person who has this belief has simply just believed something that they've read on Twitter or on Facebook and on TikTok or something. I don't have to believe in the same thing. I'm gonna read some of the comments from this post, and they're all on this subreddit Feminism, which of course says a lot. The top comments is, I would be very uncomfortable with this if I were you. However, given you've tried, maybe you could engage another adult to help. Does he have any positive male role models that you could mention it to? You know what blows my mind? These people are literally like, they just don't understand, do they? I may be, and I'm not trying to boast here, I hope that he's got some other ones, I hope that this 14-year-old has got other male role models, but I may be one of his very, very few positive male role models out there, and they think that this kind of content is misogyny. So I want you to think right now, what kind of positive male role model are they gonna tell this young man that he should follow instead? Maybe the kind of one who's so positive that he wears dresses to offend traditional masculinity. And then the original poster, the woman whose brother it is, she replied, it's his cousins that got him onto Hamza. Thank you. And he has other strong male role models. But when I asked him why he doesn't follow them, he says that they haven't reached the level of wealth and masculinity he's hoping to attain. So we have an ambitious young man who's looking up to the kind of guys that he wants to be like. And that happens to be me, and maybe it happens to be Andrew Tate as well. And she has said, oh yeah, he's got some strong male role models. If he doesn't want to be like them, how strong are they? Another comment, you can lead by example. Feminism to young and insecure men is scary and intimidating, but just showing how a grown man behaves and treats women with respect will go a long way, as we've been doing here. This comment is literally someone saying, feminism to young and insecure men. You see this 14-year-old, this brother of the girl who's posted this. He's 14, he's been going to the gym, he's being ambitious, he's actually trying to make more money, be more confident. And all of these girls on the feminism subreddits are calling him insecure because he doesn't want to be a feminine man. They think that's insecurity. And calling him on his sexist behavior and attitudes is important. Where has he been sexist? Being around a misogynist is a lot like being around someone who is racist. So now I'm being addressed as someone who's racist or misogynist. And this is the original poster who's replied about her brother. He claims that he is far from insecure and that both Hamza and Andrew Tate greatly improved his health both mentally and physically. He says without them, he would have been a slave to the Matrix. I honestly don't know what to do with him. Here is a young man saying that finding these masculine role models online has improved his mental health, and his sister is replying in a way where she's like, oh, I just don't know what to do about him. I just wish he was depressed again. I just wish he was anxious. I wish that he was low status again. I wish that he wasn't trying to elevate his status as a young man. I wish that he just believed the same conditioning that I did. Men and women are the same. Another reply from someone with a bunch of emojis. I think you honestly need to bully and troll him back from the brink. It's the only way. And then someone replies to that comment, yeah, there's a good point. There's no limit to the stupidity of people like Hamza, whoever he is, and Tate. At this point, even I'm thinking, okay, have I faked this post? Has someone been faking this? Because this literally sounds like faked, like how silly these people are. The original poster replies to that comment saying you should bully your brother out of wanting to become masculine. And she replies, I am considerably taller than him, and so whenever he watches Hamza, I do bully him, but nothing works as he's latched onto this ideology of stoicism. What a top tier young man. His sister is bullying him to become a feminist, to become a weak feminine man, and he's invoking stoicism. He's getting tested each and every day. Poor guy can't even watch some Hamza videos and some Tate shorts anymore. Young man, if you're watching this, find a way to contact me and I will mentor you for free. Someone replied, the housewife thing is easy to disprove since so many needed to be drugged drugged into oblivion, they were miserable. That's probably not true, and there isn't a lot of research to show that housewives in the 1900s or previous were drugged into oblivion for them to enjoy. Actually, housewives and mothers had the greatest jobs and still do have the greatest jobs. And so the original poster replied to this and said, I tried bringing up that point, but he said that Hamza's girlfriend doesn't work and is far happier than working women. Well, yeah, of course they do. I want you to imagine right now, right? Just imagine this sort of reality, which is kind of hard to achieve, but just imagine you become so successful and so wealthy, you know, your income is very high, that when you meet a girl who's working some job that she doesn't really like and she doesn't really know what she wants to do in the career world, that then she just doesn't need to work anymore when she's around you. I met my girl in Thailand months ago. We were both traveling. I was with my friend, she was with her brother, and she wanted to like continue traveling and everything. And you know, she had a job back at home, but she didn't really like it. Well, as soon as I left Thailand, she left too and came with me in the UK, and we stayed in Scotland for a month in just a fancy Airbnb. Then we went to London for 2 months. Then we went to Dubai. She didn't have to work through this time. So you want to know what she did with her day? She'd wake up and literally just like want to cuddle me. She'd spend time sunbathing, reading, listening to music, just like journaling, and just going to the gym for like 2 hours a day, swimming, just getting food and just waiting for me to like finish work so she could spend time with me. And she said that this was the happiest times of her life. This is what bothers me the most. You know, you can talk about equality and stuff fine. When women try to convince other women that feminism and being career focused is the way, they don't realize how evil this advice is, because we need to speak about this right now. And this is what's going to get me labeled as a misogynist in this video, but you need to understand this, and you need to stop the cancer that is feminism from invading your loved ones. This is what happens when a woman becomes career focused. And you know, they can do that absolutely fine. If that's what you want to do, fine. But when a woman becomes career focused, she pushes off serious relationships and motherhood till it often gets too late. Women really only have this window to get pregnant and have children safely till around age 30 to 35, around that time. After around age 30, roughly for most women, that's when complications in pregnancy really drastically increases. So the best case scenario is that a woman gets pregnant with her husband at age 18, 19, 20, 21, you know, like the early 20 years, and not later. But when a woman chooses to prioritize a career, which might be like something that she really wants to do, the issue is by prioritizing a career, you generally need to put family off the pedestal, which is not something that you should do. Time and time again, if you've ever watched those videos which are on YouTube about like what dying old aged people would like to say about their lives, and you know, what was the best part of their lives, you want to know the most consistent answer that old people give of what was the best thing in their entire lives: family. Time and time and time and time again, all the time, people will always rate their family as the most important thing in their lives, never their career. The only kind of person who rates their career as the most important thing in their lives is an ultra masculine man, and the reason why he rates that so highly is because it allows him to provide for his family. What these modern day feminists don't understand is that when they push women to pursue careers instead of motherhood, the family breaks down and everyone gets depressed. I'm 25 years old. I should be married with 2 children at this age. If you're like 20 years old, bro, 100 years ago, you would have been married with a kid. I want you to imagine this right now. I want you to imagine we lived in the early 1900s, and you and I both knew, let's say we were both like 14 years old. We both knew that we'd be married with children 4 years from now when we were 14. You really think you and I are gonna mess around and watch day and, you know, just like sit around doing nothing? Or do you think me and you would go work in like the factory and already start like getting a higher income and working really hard and start getting some promotions? Age 17, me and you both meet like our wives, and we literally like fall in love, and she is so pure, so beautiful, that instead of like her focusing on her career because she knew that her man would do it, she's been focusing on being a beautiful housewife and a fantastic mother. And so we have children at age 18, 19. Imagine what that would have done to us. Don't imagine, you know, with our bias of the modern day, because things are different. I want you to imagine if everything just reset and we knew that we were going to have children at age 18 or 19. Imagine how disciplined we would have been. Imagine how purposeful we would have been. Imagine what level of masculinity we would have had. Feminists don't really understand this because they're very like blindsided. They just think about like this first level of consequence, which is, yeah, like, you know, equality is really important, guys. If men can work, then women should work too. But they don't realize that working a full-time job for the majority of people isn't a positive thing. Like that's common sense, isn't it? I think almost everyone can admit this. Working a full-time job for probably 80% of people, 90% of people, is more of a negative than it is a positive. It's not like a good thing to go out there into the career world unless you are like a top tier performer, and for example you've got a business or you're really high up in some kind of career that gives you like a good amount of status, fine. But for the majority of people who are working jobs, can't we all agree that the most people who are working jobs aren't even happy with their jobs? So why are we flooding our wives, the mothers of our children into the workplace? Because you know what happens with this. Truthfully, these feminists are going to hate me for saying this, but you need to understand this. And if there's any women who kind of agree with me here, you need to understand this. It's going to sound a little bit insulting. A a woman will always submit to a man. It used to be that a woman would submit to her father, and then when she was of age and married, she would submit to her husband. Women's happiness was sky high back then. Now guess what? Young women don't even submit to their fathers anymore because most fathers are weak. Women don't submit to their husbands anymore because they don't really get married or have husbands these days, or most husbands are weak. Women submit to their bosses. Your future wife should have submitted to you and you would have been like the highest tier guy in her life. Now it's her boss. It's her boss that she's been conditioned to obey, to submit to. I want you to think of how much that could mess up your relationship with her. When she spends 40 hours a week submitting to a different guy who pays her and who provides for her, well, suddenly she doesn't need you. And you know, she makes her own money. And if you do so divorce, the government will give you her a lot more. So she has an incentive not to stay in a nuclear, healthy relationship. The destruction of families has come from feminism. It's come from women like this. Another comment, and I swear to God, these seem like fake. Another comment, I can't even say it on YouTube anymore because we'll get like censored, but like, bully the little right back, mirror his behavior until it's annoying, or he'll get it eventually, or hopefully at least die trying. Now the original poster has replied to someone and she said, I've told my parents about it and they don't know a thing about the red pill or stuff like this. I've tried telling them it promotes misogyny and it backfired horribly on me because they asked me how and I was at a loss for words as I couldn't really explain that well. Remember what I told you before, that we need to analyze the beliefs that we have in our mind. She has this belief that I'm a misogynist, that her little brother joining our cult, our movement and watching our videos will become a misogynist, and she doesn't even know why she believes this. Her parents asked her, okay, like, how is this misogyny? Tell us. And she was at a loss for words. She couldn't even explain why this was misogynist. So do you think that this is an intelligent person who has truly like come to the conclusion with evidence that this is misogyny? Or do you think it's someone who's just kind of like abruptly seen something, judged a book by its cover and said, yep, you know, it's a guy talking about masculinity. Masculinity is a really bad thing, isn't it? Someone replied and said, I hate this idea that going to the gym is masculine. And this original poster with the brother, she replied, he says that building an aesthetic muscular physique is one of the most masculine things a man can do, as most men are out of shape. One time he saw one of his female cousins and sent them Hamza's looks maxing video. This was very disrespectful. Someone else commented, maybe direct him to better masculine influencers. Yeah, 100%. Bro, if there's other better masculine influencers, 100%. A young man needs masculine role models, and he's chosen me and Andrew Tate. If there's someone better, send it to him. The issue is, I don't know about you, I want you to just imagine the kind of girl who's wrote all this, right? And you know, she's worried about her brother watching these videos. I want you to think of what kind of masculine role models she would pick for her brother. I genuinely, like, I don't look into this kind of stuff, right? But I've seen like the modern day masculinity, like, oh, you know, masculinity, what's the phrase they always use? It's like Harry Styles or whatever, like, you know, those like modern day TikTok kind of guys, which shows pick them in pictures of like skirts, like, oh look, traditional masculinities, it's old now. Modern masculinity is guys wearing makeup. This is the kind of person that this little girl is going to send to her brother. Do you think that's right? This young man, this 14-year-old, has been watching my videos, Andrew Tate, and he has chosen us as his masculine role models because he probably doesn't get that in school or from his parents. And this woman is going to try and convince him to not watch content like this, to not become more like Adonis, to not become more wealthy and ambitious and confident and happy and mentally strong and stoic, and instead that he should embrace his feminine side. It genuinely, like, I don't even know if this video is going to be nice because this genuinely just feels like a fake post. It probably isn't, because people genuinely are like this, you know, because of how much I've talked to you about people, like, you know, just like I always laugh, oh yeah, like they want us to be weak and, you know, feminism and stuff. Seeing someone actually talk in this way, it makes me feel like this is just, it can't even be real. This comment is pretty good. This is the only comment that I've seen that's actually worth like talking about. Telling him it's okay to be feminine probably won't be helpful because the overwhelming majority of men don't want to be feminine and are not wired for it. These guys like Hamza and Tate are so popular because modern society has no answer for young men anymore. So many boys are raised in a broken household with no father. These guys will ultimately cling to almost any credible guy who offers them a path to something better. It's the truth. Honestly, like, you want to know something about me? I genuinely don't think that I'm that amazing. When I look at how many guys follow my words, almost 1.5 million, it throws me back because I still, like, you know, my identity is definitely updating as I become more and more of a leader. But I still just see myself as like a guy who just goes to the gym and, you know, I just said some like good words on the internet and people like latched onto this message. I don't think what I say is that incredibly special because a lot of it's kind of common sense once you peel back the conditioning that we've been through. A lot of what I say is just coming from religion like Islam. It's coming from the natural way of things that men should be masculine and women should be feminine, and specifically that men should not be feminine and women should not be masculine. I say some simple stuff, and yet the message has went absolutely viral because of how much young men actually want to hear this. Because you don't want to be weak. You don't want to be feminine. You want to go to the gym, build a good body, feel physically and mentally strong, make a good amount of money, get the attraction from women, get the respect of men. And genuinely, I'm not boasting when I say this, but by by following what I say and becoming more like Adonis, you will get those things. Undeniably, you will get those things. By following what Andrew Tate says, by becoming more like him, you will get those things. You will get the respect from other guys. You will get the attraction from women. You will feel mentally and physically good about yourself. You will make progress to goals that make you feel happy. And perhaps the reason why this message went so viral, because this is the first time another man has looked at you and actually encouraged your dream to become a man. Because all of your life, that dream of wanting to be an actual man has been throttled, and they've told you, well, why don't you just be like a girl instead? Because girls are as good as guys at everything. Why embrace feminism? Why don't you just embrace your feminine side? Like, these people will literally tell you, you should embrace your feminine emotions, like you should cry more. Think about that. Their positive advice to you is that you should cry more, that you should feel more sadness, more feminine emotions that makes you feel weak. My advice to you is that you shouldn't cry. My advice to you is that you should be stronger, more disciplined, so that you can achieve more. If you follow my advice, you will have more positive things happen and you will achieve more and feel happier. If you follow their advice, you'll cry and be feminine and be in touch with your emotions and ask girls about their hobbies and interests and wonder why you're getting left on red and ghosted all the time. Why that Chad jerk kind of guy always seems to get the girl that you've got a crush on. There's more comments. I won't go over many of them, but this last one. In my opinion, there are two big reasons kids start with stuff like this. It's a fad and it will pass. I don't think so. I don't think wanting to become masculine as a young man is a fad. I've discovered this kind of content and this kind of way of thinking when I was 17 years old. I'm 25 now. It was not a fad and it did not pass. They are in a crisis and need intervention. Not for the red pill beliefs, but for what drove them there. It could be mental issues like depression or anxiety. So this person's saying that someone finds these videos because of a crisis like depression or anxiety, which is true. A lot of the guys who originally find my stuff are very depressed and anxious about their lives, stressed, overwhelmed, just unhappy. And that's why I've made so many videos on mental health, like the real way to improve your mental health. This content is tailored to reach all of these people and comfort them with garbage, and that garbage is really comforting. I don't think so. I mean, calling it garbage is just like a straight up insult, but we'll take it, right? This person's saying that this kind of content is comforting. I don't think so. I don't think when you listen to me talk and I call you out and I call you a and I say that you're not working hard enough, I don't think that's comforting, do you? Oftentimes I've said that comfort is the killer of man. You don't come here for comfort. If anything, you come here for the opposite of that. You come here for discomfort. You come here to be called out. For the first time in your life, you come to a place voluntarily because you want to hear that you're not doing enough and that there's more things you can do to become a man. And if that's how you feel, this movement is for you. These people on this page have called me a YouTuber many times, but I'm not a YouTuber. I'm a leader. I'm a leader of over 1 million men, and this movement is just getting started. Click and watch this video right now. Do the hard work, especially when you don't feel like it. Mwah.